Check out the Burrito Bond prospectus to begin or boost your wealth building.
Welcome back. Continuing the news. A special audit of the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, shows the entity cannot say if millions of dollars worth of fertilizer actually went to farmers. Details in this report.
Between September 2019 to July 2023, Morocco donated roughly 72,000 bags of fertilizer to Jamaica, valued at roughly $349.4 million. Of that amount, over 11,000 bags of fertilizer, valued at $54 million, were allocated directly to members of parliament for them to distribute to farmers. However, despite repeated requests, RADA said MPs did not submit distribution sheets with information on which farmers got the fertilizer. The Auditor General said RADA could not provide proof that the fertilizer reached legitimate farmers. Similarly, RADA did not provide evidence of the controls in place to ensure the fertilizer reached intended farmers. The distribution process was further compromised as RADA extension officers who assess the needs of farmers were not involved in the process. The Auditor General said RADA was responsible for the Moroccan fertilizer and should have instituted controls to govern distribution, whether directly or through MPs. In response, RADA said MPs have always been involved in the distribution of items to farmers. RADA added that a technical team gave instructions for the Moroccan fertilizer to be allocated to MPs. Under RADA's standard operating procedures, extension officers or agricultural assistants should compile a list of beneficiaries based on needs. That beneficiary list must be verified by the parish manager or deputy, and only registered and suitable farmers are eligible. Such benefits are distributed either directly from RADA, an approved supplier, or the parish office. The Auditor General is therefore recommending that RADA strengthens its beneficiary selection to implement robust procedures and approve selection criteria for beneficiaries. Meanwhile, the RADA CEO says the entity will be submitting supporting documents to the Auditor General to show that the bags of fertilizer were indeed given to farmers. As reported, the audit stated that RADA could not verify if over 11,000 bags of fertilizer, valued at roughly $54 million, were in fact distributed to farmers by the MPs. Jamila Maitland reports.
Acting CEO of the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, Garnet Edmondson, says the agency has the supporting documents to account for the fertilizers it distributed to members of parliament.
We have in our possession documents from member parliaments that support the distribution. We are not saying that the process was perfect. We are saying that the fertilizers can be accounted for.
And this would be additional information. Would this information be provided tonight, the Auditor General, so they could maybe amend this report, or what?
These are additional information.
Mr. Edmondson, who was appointed in February 2025, says at the time of the audit, the information was not readily available. As to whether the missing documents would have covered the total value of fertilizers worth $54 million, he wasn't able to say. But according to General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, he's not surprised by the findings of the Auditor General's report. He described the distribution system being used by RADA to MPs as flawed.
If a politician is in front of a crowd with some staunch supporters, whether or not they're farmers, if they ask for a pack, no politician in the middle of an election campaign is going to run the risk of upsetting their supporters. So the way it was designed to begin with was flawed. And so I'm not surprised that they're unable to get the names, because the checks and balances that should have been in place, where they should submit the names of farmers allow RADA to make the checks, and then allow them to collect it at the distribution store. That mechanism was not followed.
Dr. Campbell, who is the spokesman on agriculture, accused the government of vote-buying tactics in January 2024, just before the local government election. He questioned the timeliness of the bags of fertilizers being delivered to Jamaica Labour Party politicians in Western Jamaica.
We raised some concerns then. We were told that the concerns were contrived, I believe is what the minister said at the time. But history has proven us correct that indeed the mechanism that is in place is without the necessary transparency and accountability.
What assurances can you give that the opposition MPs or the People's National Party MPs have submitted the necessary information to RADA?
I doubt it. I doubt you're going to get it from any MP, whether it is PNP or JLP, because that mechanism lends itself to you not having the level of accountability that you need. Once you give the fertilizers to the political official, they're going to have their supporters asking for it, and naturally, they are going to give it to their supporters.
In the meantime, RADA says it has improved its accountability system since the audit, which includes enhanced monitoring of its inventory and distribution processes.
We are looking at rolling out a pilot electronic input tracking system. We are looking at also enhanced checklists and documentation protocols for all distribution, including those coordinated through third parties such as MP.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Should